Hello, I'm going to be showing you how to use the perspective warp tool in Photoshop. I will be using this green Lamborghini for the example. Now the first thing you have to do is make sure your image that you want to add the perspective warp tool selected. To make sure, just go to your layers, find the image that you want to add the warp on, and click on it. And make sure there's like the light gray on that layer as you see right here. Now go to the top left of your screen and find the edit button. Click on it, then go all the way down until you find perspective warp. Click on it, and I see if you look at the top, you have these new little buttons. This will help you start using the warp tool. Now make sure you have the option with the square with the plus right next to it selected. That will be the tool that will start helping you adding the warp onto your image. Now go on top of your image, click and drag, and I see you start making this grid. Now, after you made the grid, try to align your grid with the car. By using the four corners, you will align the grid parallel to your car or whatever that you're doing. I'm not gonna put the whole grid onto my car because I'm gonna be planning to make two of them, one for the side and one for the front of the car. Now I'll just make it for the side of the car first. So pretend it's like a box. The box is like, I'm gonna pretend it's like right here, right about here. This will be the right of the box, and this will be the front of the box. Now, what you have to do next is go to one of your corners of your grid and then move it. Make sure it's aligned with your vehicle, and then just continue to make changes until it is now parallel to the vehicle. Now that you've made the adjustments onto your grid, you'll be adding the second one. Now just do the same thing, click and drag. Now as you see, if you put the second grid close enough to the other grid, you see the lines closest to each other will start to kind of glow. That means they will connect and become one. There will still be two separate grids, but they will just be connected. They're connected. And now you would do the same thing as you've done with the first grid. Just make some adjustments with it, get it aligned. If you need to, you can kind of fix the other one. It is kind of tricky without anything to kind of help me keep my lines kind of straight and even. But try to use anything that is parallel to whatever you're doing. So I hope you keep your line straight. I see I'm using this white line on the side of the road to help me be parallel and keep it straight. Now that you've made the two grids and everything, now you'll start warping your image. To do so, just go to the top left. Now you see the second option, looks like almost like a cube. Click on it. Now as you see, the grids change to these white lines with the corners. If you start to move it from the corners, you see the car now will start warping. You can just do crazy things with it. Now to help you kind of straighten your vehicle a bit, to like that also help align a bit more. Now if you hold shift and hover your mouse over the white lines, you see it'll become yellow. This will help you straighten the line. Let's say if I put it to the right and press the line while I'm holding shift, as you see it straightens. Now it has been moved as you see, but it has been straightened so it isn't in that angle anymore. But also doing this will help keep the two corners that are selected move together. Now, what I mean by this, let's say if I just don't have it selected, you see how this moves by itself, warps it. Now, if I have selected by holding shift, now the two move together, the two corners. And you can do this on multiple, not just one. You can do it on the other side, which I would be planning to do. This will help me straighten the car. See, because you see how this line is slightly in an angle? If I click on it, As you see, it straightens, it becomes vertical and straight. Now you can start warping your image. Now this vehicle doesn't really need too much like warping, only like slight little adjustments just to be kind of aligned with the road. But depending on what you're doing, you might need a lot of adjustments. Now that you finished warping, you can either press enter on your keyboard or go to the top until you find the check mark. And then after that, you finish warping. Now you can, if you're doing a vehicle, and now that you finish warping it, you can start adding maybe like a little shadow underneath to start blending in the car with the other image that you've added it on. But other than that, now that's how you add perspective warp onto your image. You can use it for anything, buildings, cars, text. But other than that, thanks for watching.